all over the place at the moment, but then that's just something you have to deal with. Yes, so this is me just talking at you for half an hour or so, if I last that long, if you last that long, indeed. And then I've got shows, more of the Not Really in Edinburgh shows starting on Tuesday, with guests in the morning and just me in the evening. And that's been going ever so well. Hello, Philip. Nice to see you. Ever so well, by the way, is code for that happened. So it's been an interesting journey, really. We've learned something. We've learned to probably not do this sort of thing again. I don't know what to do, really. I was looking at prices in Edinburgh for the whole of the year, and it works out if you spend money for the whole of the year in some of the medium priced, so lower priced flats, like flat shares, that you can end up spending more than you would spend in the 3 weeks in Edinburgh in quite a lot of the accommodation, which is an interesting thing to know. Like, I don't know how to take that, really. I'm at the moment not thinking of moving to Edinburgh, but it's like, that's interesting. Oh well, that's, yeah, you're working, exactly. I understood that, and I realised that, and I guessed that 7 o'clock is when people are commuting, when they're travelling home. So if you're not actually in Edinburgh watching shows, then you're probably not in any state to come and... Oh, my tea went down the wrong way now. Oh, so thank you for my 1 thumbs up. I'm assuming it was you, Philip. That was good. Thank you very much. If it wasn't you, then thank you the other person. So it's been going quite well. I've got blisters on my fingers from playing the guitar quite badly. Some people have been very charitable, going, oh, lovely music, that's so nice. It's like, yeah, probably being sarcastic, but I'll take it anyway, because if you can't take sarcasm at face value, then what's the point of life? It's like, just if somebody says something that's clearly a diss, but they've said it in a way that it can be taken as, yes, that's true, you've said something nice about me, and then just take it as the nice thing. That'll probably annoy them. They're like, I didn't mean that, that's not what I meant. And you're like, well, it's like, you can't tell sarcasm over the internet, really, if it's just written down. You can if you're saying it, but even then, sarcasm, you can read it one way, you can read it the other way. You just say, well, that's just, I've known people that have said everything that they've ever said sounds sarcastic, and you're just like, don't say that to me. And they're like, no, that's genuinely, it's just the way I'm expressing myself. So take the words, not the tone, no matter what, even if it's quite obvious that it's certainly not what they meant. Just take it that way anyway. That's probably just as well. That's the trouble with satire, though. Satire can be very easily read at face value, in which case you've really caused a lot of problems if that's not what you meant, and if the vast majority of people take it in a way that's, it's very difficult. Like, I'm just, a lot of people say nice things. Yes, got to take what you can, exactly. Just take it. Just take it. Like, sarcasm. I think, you know, when the Labour government left power, and the person that was the Chancellor of the Exchequer, I think, left a humorous note. I assumed it was humorous. A humorous note going, there's no money left, haha. Something like that. And it's like, oh, look, they wrote a note saying there's no money left. What a terrible waste of space all these people were. Haha, they've said there's no money left. It's like, well, that is quite clearly a joke. This is another thing that's just, I was just, before I came onto this platform, was reading about a New York Times review of something called Bodies, 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 where the woman that wrote the article had said that it was nothing but 95 minutes advert for cleavage. And the person that was in the film wrote a private message to this person saying, well, you should maybe not look at the, and then maybe you'd have seen the film. This person that wrote the article saying the things about the film took umbrage at this, took it to TikTok, spread it far and wide that she was being picked on now. This was a private message, bear in mind, and she's the one that had written the nasty thing about the film. And so the person that was in the film thought, aha, I'll send a humorous, what I think is a humorous message in private. And the person that wrote to the article in the first place was absolutely, no, you use your social influence to put me down, and it's you've been la 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 and whatever. It's like, calm down. You know, it's that person clearly in because the private message was published online, and it was clear that the person that had responded to quite a nasty article was joking, but and did say that they laughed at the article. They thought it was funny. They thought it was meant to be funny, and clearly it wasn't meant to be funny. This person that wrote the article actually thought, but actually I've seen the pictures. Everything is private. Nothing's private. It's true. So you write things that are private, and people tell the world, and then you're like, what the? There's another person. I'm following up. I'm dragging TikTok into here, but I got, for some reason, somebody on my timeline, they're working for Airbnb, or they've got an Airbnb place in Ireland, and they're disabled, and the people that came to stay with them, and apparently they're only spending like €20 a night to stay in this place, which is not a lot per person, not a lot to stay in somebody's house, but it was just for the one room. But the people came to her house and decided that they didn't like disabled hosts, and they were going to complain about it. She had to stay in her kitchen, and she's trying to talk to Airbnb about why she has to apologise for being disabled to these people that came into her house and made her stay in the kitchen, and just put everything that was in the house they decided was some sort of disabled aid, and that they really didn't like disabled people, and they were going to complain about it, and they apparently wrote like 180 points. Anyway, I don't know who thought this was private, but the person that was obviously very distressed about these people coming into their house and being like this had taken to Twitter and thought that maybe one person would see it. Lots of people have seen it. I'm hoping lots more people see it. Airbnb apparently being really horrible and not really, well, some of the people, like some of the customer service people, are being sympathetic, but Airbnb as a whole is just not really budging on this, and said it's these people's right to discriminate and be hateful to a disabled person, and I don't think it is. No, these people, I don't know where they're from, because it's unsure where they're from, but they've gone into Ireland. And so if you go into Ireland, you should do as the Irish do, which is love and compassion and not discrimination. But and they also complained about not being able to smoke in this person's private house. I'm glad I don't run an Airbnb thing, because that would be stressful. People coming in and dictating what you do in your house. Hello, Airbnb is a terrible idea, exactly. Especially since this person is going out of their way to be nice as a host, and they're suffering from an illness that is going to, they're not going to last much longer. So they're doing this because they're trying to spread a little love and happiness, and also have a bit of an income, and try and live in this world, as we all do, live in this world. And it's just ridiculous. It's renting on a small scale. Now, if you've got somebody staying in your house, I stay in somebody's house, then you have to really work with them and not be horrible to them. But if you are like just loads of people coming into this person's house, and locking them in the bathroom and complaining about that person's house and how it's not what it's bad. I mean, all those things, Airbnb and voucher and all those sort of, I can't remember what the other one was, but the sort of things like, where you get a discount code, and the business is supposed to be grateful that you're only giving them 20p to do this, and they think that the business is trying to drum up business, but what actually ends up happening is the business is more or less just paying the third party broker all their money. I don't know how it works, but I wouldn't want to get involved with that sort of thing. Like, well, you can make money online. Anyway, that was all to go with things that you think are private. So probably Airbnb is trying to keep this private, but because somebody's gone on Twitter and revealed it to the world, which is the right thing to do, I think, then it's not going to hopefully remain private for long. Airbnb better think about their business practices, is all I can say about that. So yeah, people, I'm just dragging things I've seen. What have you done? It's like when you're staying in the house, there's not much you've done. All you can do is comment on other social media, which is really what I'm doing here. I don't know what to do on TikTok. I'm bemused by it. I'm just people on my feed going, I'm the person that was really famous with this viral thing from 10 years ago, but I'm not that person anymore. It's like, are you not? I don't know who that person was in the first place. It's like there was somebody that made a video about being in their mother's car on Vine about 10 years ago, and he's a very different person now from who they were then. Like, very different. Completely different person. But as well as that, there's the same person, obviously. You're not a different person, but they're a very different type of, I don't know where I'm going with that, but they're not the same person. But I didn't even know who they were in the first place. So I'm just like, oh yeah, well, you're this person, this person there with this identity now, and that's fine. And you want to put this behind you, but I no idea what this thing is. You're very famous, apparently. I looked this person up. Billions of hits on Vine. I never ever really bought into Vine when it existed. I know that Dapper Laughs got very big on Vine, and that's all I needed to know to avoid Vine. Dapper Laughs was just putting like, what was Vine? It was like 1 second going, all right, and then it went on loop, and you're like, because it goes on 1 second, you end up getting 1 billion views for 1 second of nonsense, and then getting a ITV4 series out of it, and then saying something horrible and getting cancelled. And that was, to me, the only thing that Vine was. Dapper Laughs was very briefly famous, said something stupid, off he goes. Bye-bye, Dapper Laughs. What a terrible shame for you. Didn't really know who you were in the first place. But I know what your name is. But this person, who is apparently a very big person on Vine, no idea. No idea. So there's all these people, and then there's other people coming out on Twitter, and they're like, la 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 la, and I'm like, oh, that's interesting, who are you? And then I go, and it's like, 4 billion people are following you. You've got 67 billion likes. It's like, you've got 25 billion people following you that don't even exist. And I'm like, who are these people that have aliens following them? There's so many people following them that they've gone back in time and got everybody from the history of the whole, from the start of humanity. Every single person before the internet was even a germ in an amoeba's eye. All the amoebas as well are following them. And yet I don't know who they are, but they're a big deal. And everyone's going, la la la, here's a discussion about this person that's a big deal. And I'm like, I don't know who they are. I don't know who you are. Yes, I do feel stressful doing this. I'm stressed. I'm trying, but because I'm very late on the TikTok journey, I'm like, put this thing out. That'll do well. No, it doesn't. Put this thing out. That won't do very well. That's rubbish. Oh, that's done better than I thought. What? This thing, though, is amazing. That's the best thing ever. That'll do. No, nobody watches that. I do not know how it works. All I know is I've been there a month now, and I'm not a big megastar yet. How? What? Why? But then I'm looking back on my YouTube journey and realising that about 6 months in, I got very excited that I had 400 subscribers after being there for probably nearly a year, something like that. And was so excited by 400 subscribers. Although, can I have the light off, please? Thank you. Somebody's turned the light on. Does that make it better? I don't know. But I was just... What are you doing? Leave me alone. Leave me in the dark. The trouble is, with a place, an old place like this, that has got light switches outside the room, you've got no control. If you're in the room with the door shut, you have no control over what the outside world does to you. It's very much like Twitter and TikTok and what was I talking about? Anyway, yeah, the world outside does things to you when you have no control over it. So this is my discourse on this. I'm trying to think of amazing things to do that will attract attention and get me acclaim and applause and most importantly money, because that's what I'm thinking about. Money. How do I make money? And I do not know. I know it's very crash to talk about money. Well, it's only very crass because the people that have lots of money don't want you to know that they've got a lot more money than you, and they pretend that it's crass to talk about money because they don't want you to have any. They want to keep it all for themselves. Economics 101. The most important thing is not money. The most important thing is continuing to survive, for which, in the way that the world is, you do need money. I don't need more money than I need to survive. I need enough to survive. But if you are sort of starving to death in a hovel in the cold, then I think you will find that money is fairly important. You can't do anything without fulfilling your basic needs. It's a sort of hierarchy of needs, and you have to fulfill the bottom. You have to be fed and clothed and be relatively comfortable before you can start thinking about higher purposes, really. And I'm all about the higher purposes, but in order to get there, you do need a certain basic level of not suffering. So, how can you think about money? Oh, what? Just, it's all about the art. Well, frankly, that's the sort of thing that people that have got the money that can think about the arts would say. Yes, and yes, exactly. The most, yeah, is that a Pirates of the Caribbean reference. You all know my opinion on that whole thing. I very much enjoyed Pirates of the Caribbean. So much so that, as well as having a regular copy, I think I had a pirated copy at one point because I thought it was a real one, and I bought it from a person at a bazaar, and then I got it home and realised that was not a legitimate copy, but I did buy a real copy. But, quite frankly, I don't want certain people that were in that to have any of my money. So, fair to that. Fair and double fair. Somebody that you thought was a good person. This is what I'm a bit worried about. The Addams Family, Wednesday, I think it is, basically, it's coming out on Netflix. Tim Burton, I'm reading a lot of stuff about Tim Burton's not the good person that you think he is. And I'm like, but I mean, I've not heard anything actively evil about Tim Burton. Just that, you know, there's certain, that's a bit dodgy about Tim Burton. Tim Burton's probably not the goodie that you think he is, but he's not the baddie either. Now, Catherine Zeta-Jones from Swansea and Luis Guzman from some stuff that I've seen probably, and he's in it, and some people, other people. But they haven't announced who Uncle Fester is, and there have been rumours, and I was like, as soon as I heard the rumours, I'm like, oh, no. Because I know it's probably meant to be watched by children, but I was still like, oh, that looks like something I might want to watch. And now I'm like, that looks like something I do not want to watch. If that is the case, and that rumour is true, aha, no, fair, no. Yes, a rant about, yeah, I can't see what you just said there, but I am annoyed. No rant about that. No, Windwalker. I don't understand YouTube at all. I've been here almost since the beginning, about a year after it started. I mean, not even a year. Maybe about 7 or 8 months after it started, I got this channel. So I'm an old-timer. That's not right. I'm an old-timer. That's not right either. I don't know what accent I'm going for now, but I'm an old-timer from way back in the timey-wimey times in the past. And I've got the views, and then they took them away. I got more than 6 million views, but for some reason they decided years after the fact that they were going to look at the views and take them away based on something I don't even understand. It's like they're over a period of time, but something happened, they took them away. They took a load of my subscribers away. I never got them back, really. I'm still struggling to get up to the point where before they took them away, years later. I am not getting the views on YouTube. I'm looking through my videos saying, what can I repurpose for the TikTok? And not all of it, because it needs to be sort of in the middle, and it needs to be fairly decent quality, and some of it's just not. And some of it I'm just looking at going, what is that video that I made? I can't believe, because I thought, oh, there's loads of high quality stuff over the many years that I've been here. There must be loads of stuff that I can use. Not as much as you think. I've been there a month and I've pretty much run out of all the stuff that I am happy to be seen in public again. It's like, it's still all here on YouTube. Go looking. Even the thing that I was most embarrassed about, that I thought I better make that private, because apart from anything else, YouTube demonetized it and said it's not suitable for public consumption and or something like that, even though it's got nearly 2 million views on it. They're like, no, you can't monetize that. And I'm like, why? And I still don't quite understand. But I think it's the same reason that the critic of Bodies saw a film where people are covered up to here, nothing showing, and said it was a 95-minute advert for cleavage. Because it's all in your mind, YouTube. This is not suitable. It's the one wearing a towel, right? I'm wearing a towel. My towel comes to here, right? And I'm like, I haven't got fat arms, right? And underneath the towel, I'm wearing a top very like this top, underneath the towel, and underneath that, I'm wearing my underwear. So I'm wearing 3 layers of clothes, but you can see my shoulders because I'm wearing a towel. Now, for some reason, YouTube, very prudishly, I think, decided to seeing my bare shoulders. Here's my shoulder. This, you see a strap then, that's not. There's my shoulder. Seeing my shoulder is apparently so shocking that I can't monetize my blooming shoulder. So this is the issue I have with the person that wrote about bodies. It's very much in her mind that it was all about the cleavage. And there's a thing in film criticism called the male gaze, G-A-Z-E. Now, you don't have to be a male person, a male-bodied person, a male thinking person. You don't have to be to have this, because it supposes that all cinema is seen through the eyes of an amorphous, not really, a male audience. So all the audience, whoever you are, counts as being the male looking at. So how it's framed is to titillate and make happy the person watching. And you're like, I get. So even though the critic that was writing it is not, they were still seeing it through that whole lens of, well, this person is attractive, therefore they are doing it to attract me. Oh, how disgusting. Now, I would never do that because I don't really care about that. None of my stuff, even if you think it is done through that, because I'm framing it through my eyes and I'm seeing it how I'm seeing it. And if you see it another way, that's up to you. That's your interpretation of it. But what I was trying to show is that I don't have fat arms. That was it. That is the end of it. There's no other connotations. I don't have fat arms. Do I have fat arms? No, I don't. Fair. It's not me being insecure. It's me going, no, I don't have fat arms. Come off it. No. And showing me how, and not that that would be wrong anyway. If you've got fat arms, that's perfectly fine. Glory in it. I really don't have an issue with the degree of somebody's body fat. Be proud of yourself, whatever it is. This is a whole thing about being body issues and being comfortable in your skin, but also knowing what your skin is, knowing about it. So if somebody says you have got fat arms and you've got fat arms, go, yes, that's good. They're good, aren't they? Fair enough. But if you don't, if in fact that is not the case, you go, no, obviously not. Fact. You know, and that was all it was. Yes, the thumbnails, and this is it as well. I put up the the sweet corn video very early on, like the second video I tried to put on TikTok, and it took off the whole sound, and I thought it was because I'd used some music from, it was Kevin MacLeod music, which is Creative Commons. He said that if you give him a donation on the website, or even if you don't, you're allowed to use it in any way you want, as long as you credit him. So I do that. Now, I thought that they blanked the sound because I'd used Kevin MacLeod's music and it wasn't available on that platform. But then I look, and the third most popular thing on that platform is a Kevin MacLeod thing. He's got a lot of stuff up there. He's obviously happy to let it be used on there. It wasn't the music. I was misinterpreting the problem. I saw a video today that was talking about an actor that had worked in, and there was a picture of an ear of corn, and I went, oh, it's being used as an insert, a euphemism for something else that sounds a bit like the end of sweet corn. Yes. Anyway, so TikTok had assumed that my perfectly innocent vegetable video about an ear of sweet corn was about something that was not allowed on that platform. You're not allowed to talk about that, even though other people have talked about it, but using the ear of sweet corn as an emoji to tell you what they're actually talking about. So you can get around there, but obviously their algorithms decided that's not good enough. And but I don't, because because it's nothing. It doesn't. It's meaningless basically. But get your facts right. If you've got an ear, if you said, oh, that ear is shaped like a butterfly, and I'm like, I don't think it is. That's not a butterfly. That's not saying, oh, I hate my ear because it doesn't look like a butterfly. That's just saying, don't think so. Whatever. You're open to fair enough. If you think it does, fair enough. Oh, it's like your eye looks like an apple pie, because that rhymes. It's like, does it? Oh, I don't think so. This is why it doesn't. Not hating my eye or my ear, just pointing out, no. Physically doesn't. It's like, your hair is blonde. All right, well, if that's what you think, but I don't think it is. Objectively, if this is what people mean by blonde, it is not. Even if there's a very wide spectrum of what you mean. So it's not to do with hating it. It's just to do with fact, or, some things are subjective and some things are just silly. And all right, well, you're entitled to your opinion, but anyway, my whole relationship to my physicality is beside the point, because I don't care what you think, but I would like to point out objective fact. It's like, I do think of it as a sort of, it's like, I'm like pointing to certain parts, like, this is this, and I know it's this, and this is why I know it's this, and so what, who cares? Bleh. It's like, it's not separate from me, it's here. Obviously, well, you can argue philosophy for many years, going, are we really here? Do we exist? What is the nature of reality? Are we all illusions? You can do that. Yes, you're an objective. Yes, I'm not, exactly. We'll get that's subjective, obviously. So everything is subjective, that even if you think you're being, you can define terms all you like, but the terms are mainly, they're going to change. So it's like, this is a thing. It's like, well, it was a thing, but now this is what the thing is, and that is fine. Again, things like words change, but there are other things that don't change. It's like, we do get into a difficult territory here, because there are some things that people go, you're not that thing because this is this thing, and you go, well, yes, that was that thing, but now this is this thing. And all right, so maybe there is no such thing as objective fact. I'm starting to realize the massive pitfalls and massive crevice of inconsistencies I've fallen into based on my worldview. And I'm like, no, maybe I am blonde. There you go. And now you're going to argue, no, you're not. It's like, well, I'm just saying, if somebody says that I am, are they right? Am I right? Is it me that defines me? Is it you that defines you? Is it everybody that defines people? Or do they get a say? And now I'm just so far down the rabbit hole that I'm never going to get out again. Anyway, the whole point, it is a theory, yes. It's a film theory. And I did study film. Yes, exactly. It's a very dark blonde. Exactly. I am blonde. It's a very dark blonde. So I've argued that I was a redhead before, and people have gone, no, you're not. It's very dark. It's like, not in the sun. If I go out in the sun, it's a different colour. Because the colours of the world are very much dependent on the light and other things, and things change. Like the light, I can change the light on this. It will very much change my skin. What colour skin have you got? It's a sort of yellowy, pinky beige. And then you go, oh no, it's green or blue. Oh my gosh, it's very pink. Oh no, it's green again. The Addams Family. Oh no, it's pink. Make it go. There, it's warm. It's cold. It's cold again. See, you can change reality very easily by tiny little things. Whoa, the angles. Yeah, you can change. You can change. So, yes, now that I've come to think of it, there is no such thing as objective reality, and it is all subject. But your view of what you other people are and their view of what they are very different things, and very much internal. What the person is in a little package gets to decide what their package is and who they are as a person and what they like. You don't go, you like cheese, and the person goes, I definitely don't like cheese. It's like, yeah, do, because I say you do. You don't get to tell a person they like cheese. That's very much the truth. You don't get to say that. But if they don't like cheese, then again, they might decide that they do like cheese tomorrow. And you go, wow, but you said you didn't. It's like, well, I didn't. But I didn't taste all the cheeses, and I decided that I like that vegan cheese. You go, that vegan cheese isn't a cheese though, ha ha. And you go, it is if I say it is. And that's the end of that. That cheese, that vegan cheese, decides it's cheese because it's got sentience. It's sentient cheese. And that vegan cheese decides it's cheese. It's in the cheese family. That's good enough. You don't get to say. You don't get to say, I like ice cream, but only vegan ice cream. Anyway, I'm done with this because objectively, I've done more than 30 minutes. Subjectively, I've still done more than 30 minutes. You can't really, that's time is not an illusion. Although it is, because it's gone. But I've got a little thing on there that says, this is cushion that makes funny sounds. It's one of those, it's, have you ever seen the Fall and Rise of Reginald Perrin with the seat? Yes, it's one of those seats. Thank you very much. It's a very long clip though. Cheese God. Yes, exactly. The cheese God is in charge of all the cheeses. If indeed they exist. Cheeses exist. The cheese exists. The cheese exists. The cheeses exist. Little baby cheeses. Anyway, so we shall leave it at that. And I will see you on Tuesday. And we shall see what we shall see. And you can catch me on TikTok anytime. And on YouTube too. And on Instagram. I'm in all the places. Twitter even. Just all over the place. I'm definitely all over the place. This is making so many noises. Oh, leather. Okay, see you very soon. Bye-bye.